In this video, we're going to begin to demonstrate a basic HTML page and how to build one using nothing but Notepad++ and a browser. So on my desktop, I've opened up the folder that I have everything in. I've created a blank file called demo.html in Notepad++, and I've got Mozilla Firefox behind it, and you'll see how I use the browser to basically open up the file as I create it. Okay, so to begin with, we have a blank sheet of paper. There's nothing there. We're going to begin to build a web page. Now, as we talked about in the previous videos, there are certain tags that we need to have in there, and the first one starts with bang, doctype, HTML, and that is a tag that alerts the browser that it's about to receive an HTML page. And then we know that the outer wrapper is the HTML tag, and you'll notice that that is already blue, because one of the reasons I use Notepad++ is that when you save a file, even a blank one, as a particular file type, it automatically colorizes. That's important because you can do Python, you can do JavaScript, you can do a lot of different file formats in Notepad++, and it will colorize them for you. So now we're going to close the HTML tag. I like to do my open and closes kind of at the same time. So here we've told the browser it's going to be a web page. We've got our HTML wrapper, and now we're going to put in our two subsections. And I'm kind of doing this over my shoulder, so bear with me. Now I'm going to tab in here and say head, and right under it I'm going to close the head tag, and I'm going to give myself a couple lines there, and then I'm going to come in and I'm immediately going to put in the body tag, and I'm going to come down to right above the closing HTML and close the body tag. So a couple things that I'm showing you right here. This is kind of a blank page, and I like to keep this as a template, but notice I've indented this level of HTML so that it's easier to read. So that kind of indentation can really help you. Now, one of the things we know that we can put in the head is a title tag. So let me bring my cursor over here. Now again, because this is content within the head region, I'm going to tab in again and say title, and we'll just call this Hello World. And I need to close my title region. So there's the title that should be in the tab of the browser when we load the page. So now I'm going to come down into the body, and let's put some content into the page. Actually, no, for this case, let's do this. I'm going to hit save. Now I've already loaded an older version of the blank file here. You can see that it's already pulled my file in. So that once I know, okay, it loads a blank file, I'm going to hit refresh, and it says Hello World. Okay? And actually, I think it had an old copy where I was testing it that said Hello World too. But anyway, it does say Hello World in the tab. Okay? And if I change this, let's say I just take out the exclamation point or the bang, if I update this, excuse me, you'll see that the exclamation point goes away. So really, once I have this set up so that it's been dragged in once, I can just hit refresh and it will update it. Okay? So I'm going to put the bang back in there, and we'll keep going. So let's put some content into our page. All right? Let's start with a page title. All right? Let's use an H1. So let's say H1, the biggest header we have, and let's say welcome to my web page. And let's close the H1 tag. Okay, a very simple header. Now remember, each time I do this, I have to save it and commit it to the disk before the browser can find it on the disk. Otherwise, it's just in the memory of this workspace. So I need to save it, and ooh, look, we now have a header or a title to the web page. Okay? So we've got a nice header to the page. Let's add some textual content. All right? So let's start with a p tag, a paragraph, and we're just going to say this is a paragraph of text which is still not styled. And let's close the p tag. And now we have a paragraph of text. So let's Control Save. And let's go over here and hit this. And now we have a paragraph of text which is still not styled. Now, obviously this is not earth-shattering, okay? But you can begin to see how it's functioning as a web page. And so we're going to keep going. And in addition to a paragraph, I have put into this folder, let's see if I can pull this up real quick, a couple pictures of pugs, large and small, because I wanted to have a couple different sizes in case we decide to play with the sizes at all. But for now, let's just put an image tag in there. And let's go ahead and load the pug. So we're going to say image. Now we're going to use the source. And notice another nice thing about Notepad++, it gives you IntelliSense, which can help you find things. So I can just hit enter and it's there. So equals, and for this one we're going to use pug large .jpg, and I know that it's a JPG because I saved it as a JPG. And we're going to say width equals 200 and alt equals pug goes here. Now, this is an image, so it can be a self-closing tag. Okay. And let's try that. Control Save. Let's go back over here and hit that. Okay. So there's my pug. All right. It's not my pug, but you know, there's a pug. All right. And he's a cute guy. All right. So we put an image in. He is 200 pixels wide. Let me show you what happens if I don't have this width. Let's just take this out for a minute. Control Save. Back over here. And you can see that's a really big pug picture. Okay? It's really big. Okay? So that's not really useful. If I only want a 200 by 200 size of a pug, okay, image, then basically I'm wasting a lot of download. Okay, I don't need a picture that big to be effective on my web page. All right, so let's go over here to my folder, and I have pug small, which is a smaller one. All right, so we're going to say instead of pug large, we're going to say pug small, but I'm going to spell it wrong with an extra L on purpose, because I want you to see what's going to happen when I load it now. You'll notice it says pug goes here. Okay, it couldn't find the file that it was looking for, so since browsers are lazy and they hate us, right, I'm done. Okay, you gave me an alternate, I'll put it there. So that's what it does to tell the user, hey, something's wrong here, okay? So you can have that fallback, all right? That's also used for visually impaired devices, so that there's something that can be read instead of an image that wouldn't be seen. So there's some other uses for that that get a little more detailed. But for now, let's just fix this. Control Save. Go back over here and let's load it again. And now we have a small pug, and notice it's still pretty big. But it's a lot smaller and a lot less downloading. And if I still want to constrain it, then I'll go back in and put the width tag, the width parameter tag in there. So let's say width equals 200. And one of the other things that I want to the point I want to make is I can say height equals 10. Okay? And I can force it into constraints which can look really silly. Okay? So typically what you're going to find is you're going to want to use one or the other. Now if I take the width out, we're going to have a really small pug. But the constraint will be correct. Notice it's the full pug picture, but it's only 10 pixels tall. Okay? So by only having one or the other, it bounds it by the height or the width. Okay? But it basically keeps the aspect ratio so it doesn't look stupid. Alright? So there's a 100 high pug. So I can bound it by width or height, doesn't matter. Typically, you really only want to use one of those unless you know that you're maintaining the aspect ratio. But that's how you get a pug on there. Okay? That's how you do an image. So images are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun to play with. There's a lot of things when we get into styling that you can do with images that's really cool. But that's an image. So now let's add a link. Let's make our web page do something. So to be very simple, we're just going to have a link to Google. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the link tag, which is A. And the first thing I'm going to put in there is the hyperlink reference, which is equal to http://www.google.com. And I'm going to show you something new here. I'm going to add another parameter called the target. And if I say target is equal to underscore blank, what it's going to do is open this reference link in a new tab. And that's kind of a cool trick, because when you're building websites these days, you don't want people to leave your website. You may want them to load something else, but you don't really want to let them, you want them to linger in your website. So, especially if you're selling things. So you want to often load things in a new tab. Target equals blank is how you do that. Now, once I've got that, I need to say, what is the link going to say? Okay, so there is going to be a region for this. And I'm just going to say, go to Google. Now I need to close my link tag. Okay, and I think we're going to get to see another feature that I want you to understand. I saved it, and there you go. There's my link. Go to Google. It looks like a normal link, and if I click it, notice in a new tab, I get to Google. Okay? The difference is, and one of the things that's a little bit annoying is it's on the same line as the image. What if I want that down on the next line? Okay? Remember, any white space is ignored, so it's just doing things one after the other. Now, because it's an image, it did put the image below the text above it, because that was wrapped in a P tag. Okay? So, if I want to force that link to the next line, I can put a line break right after the pug, which is BR for break, and it's self-closing. Control save. And there we go. Now it's on the next line. Okay? So pretty simple to put a link in. It's really not hard at all. Now we get to styling, we're going to see a lot of cool things we can do with this. But for now, that's just how a link works. Okay? So let's go back and add one more thing that I decided I want to go ahead and show you, and that is a button. Okay? Now we talk about buttons a little bit, but for now we're just going to say button, And I'm going to go a little bit further and add what's called the on-click parameter, because I want to, and I'm not going to hold you to the JavaScript in the parameter, but I'm going to show you what happens and how you can make a button act as a link. Okay, it's kind of a neat trick, and it's something you should know. So we're going to say on click, which tells the browser when the person clicks this, execute whatever's in the middle. And in the middle is going to be JavaScript. So we're going to say equals. Now this is a JavaScript command. Window dot open, and we're going to pass it using single quotes so that it doesn't confuse the quote system. http://bing.com. We'll go to their competitors. Okay. And if I do this right, semicolon to end the statement. And then let's close that, and we're going to say click to Bing. And then we're going to say close the button region. Okay? There we go. And I think that should work. So let's hit Control Save. We're going to go over here, and we're going to open it up, and now we have a button. And if I click it, it should also open this in a new tab because I used the open command of JavaScript, and it did. So now we can go to Bing or Google, and one's a button, one's a link. I'd really like to have those on different lines anyway for when we get into the styling. So I'm going to put another break in there. Okay, Control Save. Let's go back and look at it. And there we go. So what we've done is in really, 10, 12 lines of code and file format, we have created a web page that has a button, a header, some paragraph text, a title. And if you think about it, that's a lot of power in very few lines of HTML. All right, it's amazing the power that this file format can give you. Okay, and we haven't even started styling it yet. So that is what HTML looks like, and how we use parameters to do the things that we need to pass to the browser so that it can execute it the way we want to see it. Okay, but you'll notice that even though that's got a fairly pleasant layout, it's really not styled that much. Okay, we really haven't turned it into anything modern. All right, and so once we talk about how we do styling, then, and that's probably a couple videos, then we're going to come back and we're going to do another demo where we style this page so that you can pick up right from where this is and move from there. And I will have all of this in the links of the channel so that you can download it and play with the text yourself. Okay? All right, well, that's it for this demo. I will see you on the other side.